This tale is titled YUME ONI, which translates to dream demon or ogre in a dream. It's a long one with many characters, so settle in and brace yourselves. It all revolves around 7 elementary school friends: Akira, Daiki, Kaito, Akari, Yui, Haruto, and Sota. These kids were very close and shared a common passion for telling ghost stories after school. They were probably in 5th or 6th grade, always gathering to scare each other with spooky tales. One summer break, they gathered as usual. Akari, who was quite the rule follower, almost like a class representative, spoke up. She said, "I found something at the library the other day." She pulled out a book and showed them a picture, asking, "Have you ever heard of Yume Oni?" Some hadn't. Others vaguely recalled the name, wondering what it was. Akari then explained, "Yume Oni is a game of tag that you play in a dream." She laid out the rules, which sounded surprisingly simple. 1. Everyone needs a photo of the same location, not of themselves. 2. Write your own name on the back of the photo in your own handwriting. 3. Place the photo under your pillow. 4. Just before you go to sleep, say, "Yume Oni, let's play tag," 3 times. Then simply fall asleep soundly. The friends were incredibly excited. Can we really dream together? Like playing a game over the internet, but in our dreams? They decided to try it. Akari suggested they play during their annual overnight school trip, which happens about a month after school reopens. Everyone agreed, looking forward to it. Akari promised to make copies of the photo for everyone to ensure they all had the same one. As Akira thought about it later, he realized the photo Akari showed them wasn't of their school. He also vaguely remembered seeing names written on the back of Akari's original photo. But he didn't dwell on it much, just the excitement of the upcoming game. Finally, the night of the school trip arrived. Everyone was buzzing with anticipation. Teachers separated boys and girls into different dorm rooms, but the 7 friends planned to sneak together. Once the teachers were asleep, the 7 gathered. Akari distributed the photos, and together they all wrote their names on the back, put them under their pillows, chanted, "Yume Oni, let's play tag," 3 times, then went to sleep. Akira closed his eyes, then opened them to complete darkness. "Where am I?" he wondered, feeling around. He tripped and realized he was in a toilet. This is a boys' restroom, he thought, his foot now in a toilet. Everything was pitch black. He called out, "Is anyone here?" A moment later, he heard footsteps coming down the stairs. Clack, clack, clack. It was Akari. "Akari! Oh my God, I'm so scared, but I'm glad to see you!" Akira exclaimed. They realized their dream had come true. They quickly wondered about the Oni. What does the Oni look like? Who is the Oni? Are one of us the Oni? Akari asked. Akira didn't know. They decided to find a way out of the school. They tried pushing on windows, but they were locked tight. They even tried breaking them with a chair they found, but nothing worked. The main school doors were also locked. Akira even tried to smash the door with a fire extinguisher he found, but it wouldn't budge. Akira realized, "We're stuck here. We have to play until the game ends."
Suddenly, they heard running footsteps coming closer. "What do we do?" Akari panicked. Akira spotted lockers and told her to get in. They squeezed into a locker. They heard someone stop right in front of their locker. Akira could see it now. It was definitely the Oni, not a friend. It was completely black, but its eyes glowed with small red sparks. The Oni turned its head, its glowing eyes staring directly into their locker. Akira swore he made eye contact. He was so terrified, he peed his pants. Akari was petrified too, holding her breath. Then they heard a voice. "Hey, where are you guys?" It sounded like one of their friends, but the Oni just ran off. Akira cautiously opened the locker door. Akari was a mess. "Are you okay?" he asked, though he himself had just peed. I'm okay, don't leave me," she pleaded. Akira, despite his fear, resolved to find their other friends. They walked quietly, ascending to the second floor. They saw a shadow in a room and pushed the door open. It was a science lab. Inside, they found Daiki and Kaito. "Are you okay? Did you see the Oni?" Akira asked. Daiki and Kaito had similar terrifying encounters. "We don't know who the Oni is," they admitted. They had seen other friends, but got separated while running. "What should we do now?" Akira asked. Daiki, being the boisterous one, said, "Don't worry, I'll handle it. I'll lead the way." Daiki opened the door to the hallway. "Nothing! No one's here!" he declared. "Let's go downstairs." But Akira quickly ejected. "No, I just came from downstairs. The Oni is down there." Daiki, however, insisted. "Trust me, downstairs is the safest." Their argument escalated, voices rising. Daiki even taunted Akira. "Why should I trust you? You peed your pants." Akira was furious. "You just ran away too." Their loud quarrel was a mistake. Akira suddenly felt a chill and knew the Oni was coming. "The Oni's here! Run!" he yelled. They bolted out of the room, but everyone's eyes fixed on a black shadow standing at the end of the hallway, slowly approaching. "Who is that?" Daiki asked, and just as he said it, the black shadow sprinted towards them. They all scattered, running for their lives. Akira found himself alone again, in a cooking classroom on an upper floor. He was overwhelmed by fear. "What do I do? I'm so scared," he thought. He looked at a clock. It was still midnight. Time wasn't moving in this dream. "I need to find my friends," he decided. He picked up a kitchen knife for self-defense. He heard sounds of people running downstairs, so he figured others were still on the second floor. He cautiously opened doors, peeking into classrooms. He found Akari hiding in one. "Akari, it's me," he whispered. She was still panicking. "B-kun and C-kun, Daiki and Kaito, they ran the other way. I don't know what happened to them. It all happened so fast." Akira, holding the knife, declared, "It's okay now. We have weapons. We need to stick together." As they were about to leave the room, the door slammed shut. They saw a shadow standing at the end of the hall, slowly opening classroom doors. Clank, clank, clank. Akari was terrified. "Akari, hide in the locker," Akira ordered. "I'll draw it away." Akari reluctantly agreed, trusting Akira with the knife. Akira walked out into the hallway. The Oni was just 3 meters away. Akira charged, attempting to stab it. The blade struck, but the Oni just looked at him, its red eyes glowing. The knife clattered to the floor, useless. The Oni reached for him. Akira closed his eyes, expecting the worst. Then everything went quiet. Akira opened his eyes. He was back in the dorm room, sitting where he had originally lain down. The Oni was gone. He stood up and saw Yui still sleeping soundly. Morning came. Everyone was excited, chattering about their dream experiences, except for Yui, who remained deeply asleep. The teachers came to wake them up, but Yui wouldn't stir. They just assumed she was tired. The 6 friends went to the cafeteria, still recounting their dream experiences. Everyone had started in different places, but their paths eventually converged, experiencing similar horrors. They shared their stories, realizing the full scope of the terrifying dream. Akira, however, couldn't shake off the feeling of responsibility for Yui. He went back to the dorm room to try and wake her again. As he tried to rouse her, he felt something under her pillow and pulled out the photo. The teacher saw it. "What's that?" he asked. Akira, feeling guilty, confessed everything. "Teacher, we played YUME ONI last night." The teacher's expression changed. He hugged Akira, crying, "No, not this!" The teacher then took the 6 kids to the principal's office. The principal, upon hearing they played YUME ONI, immediately canceled all school activities and sent all the students home. He looked stressed. The 6 friends, the principal, and their homeroom teacher didn't go home. Instead, they were driven to a nearby temple. At the temple entrance, there was a large stone wrapped in cloth, like something from a shrine. The abbot, seeing them, asked immediately, "You played YUME ONI, didn't you?" His face turned grim. The abbot then explained the true nature of YUME ONI. It was an ancient ritual, centuries old, used to trap a demon, a yasha, in a dream world. Long ago, this temple had a yasha that tormented people, even the old abbot. The old abbot devised this ritual. A human sacrifice would enter the dream to play tag with the yasha. If the human was caught, they would become the next yasha and be confined to the dream world. To permanently trap the yasha, the new yasha, the human who was caught, was killed in the real world while sleeping. The stone outside the temple was inscribed with the yasha's name from long ago, a record of the ritual and the yasha it trapped. The abbot explained that at some point, the yasha's name on the stone went missing. He then told them to check their photos. Everyone's name had vanished from the back of their photos, except Yui's. This meant Yui was the one who had been caught, and she was now the yasha, trapped inside the dream. The abbot then revealed a heartbreaking secret. His own wife had been the previous sacrifice, entering the dream to become the yasha. He was supposed to kill her in the real world to keep the yasha trapped, but he couldn't bring himself to do it. She had been in a coma for years, and he kept her alive, now at 70 years old. His wife, the previous yasha, had recently woken up. This happened because a group of middle schoolers had stolen the YUME ONI scripture from the temple and played the game. One of those middle schoolers was still in a coma. They immediately rushed to the hospital. The person who just woken up was indeed a woman. She was the first Oni that Akira and his friends encountered in their dream. Her mother was overjoyed that her daughter had finally woken up after years in a coma. But the abbot pressed her, asking if she told anyone about the game. The mother confessed that she had placed the YUME ONI scripture in the library, hoping someone would play it, so her daughter, who was the yasha, could finally wake up. The abbot cried, realizing his own failure had led to this new tragedy.
The middle schooler who had awakened then explained what happened in his dream. When his group played, they saw the abbot's wife, who was the current Yasha, running from them. She was trying to avoid being caught, not wanting to pass on the curse, but the children, thinking she was the monster, chased and tagged her. This is how the Yasha was transferred to the abbot's wife, who then woke up, and why one of the middle schoolers ended up in a coma. The abbot was devastated, blaming himself. There was nothing more they could do. The children were told to go home to their parents. Akira returned home. His mother cried, but also expressed relief that it wasn't her child who had woken up. Yui remained in the hospital, still in a coma, likely still sitting in that locker in the dream world. Her mother visited her every day, forbidding friends from visiting, except on Yui's birthday. Years passed. The abbot eventually passed away and was buried next to his wife. Yui's parents, after 3 or 4 more years, made a heartbreaking decision. They decided to kill their comatose daughter, then commit suicide themselves. They believed this was the only way to finally end the curse. Akira wrote this entire story down. He described all the details, even the method for playing Yume Oni, but he purposefully omitted one crucial step. He wrote it as a cautionary tale, a reminder to think carefully before playing dangerous or mysterious games, and to consider who else might be affected. He finished writing the story on Yui's birthday. This story, for me, is a 10 out of 10. It's not a typical scary story with jump scares, but it's deeply unsettling because of the human element and the tragic consequences.